Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into one of the most astonishing biological mysteries hidden deep beneath the ocean's surface. We're unpacking source material that completely upends our traditional understanding of biology and survival. So we're going to take a journey away from the sunlit surface of our planet and plunge right into an alien world that actually exists right here on Earth. I want you to imagine an environment so incredibly harsh. We're talking 2 kilometers straight down, cloaked in absolute pitch-black darkness, with a crushing atmospheric pressure. It's the kind of place where it seems utterly impossible for literally anything to survive. If you were to drop down into these depths, the weight of the water above you would be unimaginable. And for the longest time, science operated on a very logical assumption. An environment like this, it's just a dead zone. But we are going to explore this exact question today. We're looking at extreme scientific data that forces us to rethink everything we know about how life operates. Think about it. Can there really be life where there is absolutely no sunlight, no oxygen, and where the water temperature can actually exceed the boiling point? Well, let's find out. Section 1. Depths thought impossible. Let's start by plunging into these depths that scientists long believed were entirely devoid of life. Now, the traditional logic is pretty clear, right? No sunlight means no plants. No plants mean no food, and therefore absolutely no life should exist at these extreme temperatures and pressures. You're dealing with a place where the water can be freezing cold, or it can be superheated to over 400 degrees Celsius by geothermal activity. By all standard biological metrics, this should be a completely sterile environment. But our scientific understanding had to evolve, and rapidly. We went from assumptions of a barren wasteland to some truly shocking deep-sea discoveries. Just look at the timeline. You have the 2016 drilling by Jamstack off the coast of Japan, and then a major breakthrough in 2019 when an expedition by Dr. Mandy Joy and the University of Georgia dropped 2 kilometers deep into the Gulf of California. In Dr. Mandy Joy's first-hand account from that 2019 expedition, it brilliantly captures the pure, unexpected awe of what they actually found down there. Because they didn't find a barren wasteland. No way. They found giant, vibrant hydrothermal vents, teeming with colorful creatures in a place where oxygen and sun simply don't exist. She described them as wonderful towers with some kind of life covering absolutely all of their surfaces. Section 2. Ecosystem built without sun. So the crucial point here is figuring out exactly how an entire ecosystem thrives without the solar energy that powers the rest of the globe. The answer is chemosynthesis. It is a fascinating alternative engine for life. Microorganisms literally use toxic chemicals billowing out of these hydrothermal vents, chemicals like ammonium and hydrogen sulfide, to create organic matter from carbon dioxide. They are thriving on what would be deadly poison to almost anything else on Earth. It's wild. Just think about our surface world for a second. Every leaf, every tree, every blade of grass is entirely dependent on photosynthesis and solar power. But down in this alien deep-sea world, there is a separate parallel system of life powered entirely by chemical energy. And building on this chemical foundation, an incredibly vibrant ecosystem emerges. We aren't just talking about microscopic bacteria either. Imagine taking a submarine down into the pitch black and bumping into furry white crabs and 2-meter giant tube worms, all thriving around these massive 23-meter-high hydrothermal vents. You know what's really terrifying or actually fascinating about those 2-meter giant tube worms? It's what they lack. They possess absolutely no mouth, no stomach, and no digestive system whatsoever. It makes their survival seem like a biological thriller. How on earth does a 2-meter-long creature live and grow without eating? Well, they survive through a brilliant multi-step partnership. Sulfur-eating bacteria enter the larva's skin, and the worm forms a special organ just to house them. The bacteria process the toxic sulfur and produce organic food directly inside the worm. It is literally an internal chemical food factory. Honestly, it's a spectacular evolutionary workaround. Section 3. Creatures pushing the limits. Because the discoveries didn't stop at the ocean floor, scientists decided to look even deeper, venturing beneath the Earth's crust itself. The numbers here are just staggering. 40,000. That is the number of different types of microorganisms Japan's JAMSTEC researchers discovered buried 658 meters beneath the dark, crushing ocean floor. This is an environment where energy is incredibly scarce, yet the sheer diversity of microbial life is exploding. Even more incredibly, that 2016 drilling operation found living, active cells at 1,180 meters down. But the real mind-blowing part is the temperature, 120 degrees Celsius. That is well above the boiling point of the water you use to make your morning coffee. By all known laws of biology, that kind of heat should cook any organic material instantly. As Dr. Daniela Barilla from the University of York highlights, it's mind-boggling. She points out that in these extremely harsh conditions, the cell membranes and proteins of other organisms would literally, physically melt away. But these microbes don't melt. They actively thrive in environments that should biologically destroy them. And this isn't some isolated anomaly either. Data from the University of Chicago estimates that an incredible 1/3 of all microorganisms on Earth live buried in these deep subseafloor sediments. Let that sink in. A massive portion of our planet's biomass is hidden in the dark, surviving against all odds. What this source material points out is that everywhere we look, a unique biological solution has been engineered. Whether it's chemosynthesis powering life in 400-degree vents, antifreeze proteins keeping organisms alive under freezing ice, or special enzymes functioning in boiling sulfur pools. It really appears a custom biological key has been developed for every single impossible environmental lock. Seeing these incredibly specific, life-saving adaptations in environments entirely lacking a traditional food chain forces us to pause. The source text asks a pivotal question here. Who made these keys? How did such incredibly complex, perfectly tailored survival mechanisms come to exist in the absolute most hostile places on Earth? Section 4. The source of the secret. Water. This brings our analysis to a profound intersection, moving from scientific revelation into philosophical reflection. The source material challenges us to look at this massive variety of survival mechanisms, from boiling vents to freezing depths, and ask, who established the underlying framework that sustains it all? Who built a system this adaptable? To answer this, the text concludes by synthesizing these astonishing modern biological discoveries with an ancient perspective. It points to a fascinating scientific reality that aligns with the ancient text of the Quran, whether it's a giant mouthless worm near a 400-degree vent or a tiny microbe buried a kilometer below the seafloor. The absolute common denominator is water. Where there is water, life finds a way. Ultimately, the takeaway from our explainer today is a powerful thought to leave you with. The source material suggests that life, defying all odds in the darkest, most impossible extremes, seems to always begin with water, and perhaps a deeply ingrained purpose. But it really makes you wonder, if life can thrive in the boiling, crushing, pitch-black depths of our own planet, what else is hiding out there in the dark, just waiting to be discovered?